Hello and welcome to Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. I am the Analytical Dragon, and I'll be playing this. Whatever. I am not unfamiliar with the game. This is not a blind playthrough. I've seen not only a number of Let's Plays of it, but also speedruns of it. Those who know me know that I'm kind of cheap when it comes to games, to be honest, so it took me a while to decide that this game would be worth the $8 price tag, and holy shit, this actually does not control the way you would expect it to. My mouse is really jittery. Hold on, what the fuck? Cleaning out the mouse. There we go. Let's hook up here. Okay, what the fuck? Okay, wait, we have to do this. That trick. There we go. Nope. There we go. Alright. I will say, going into this, that I'm a bit of a masochist myself. I do enjoy this kind of game, and I agree with a lot of the philosophy put forward by Mr. Bennett Foddy. Up to and including the stuff about memes, to be honest. Like, I ain't getting much of a chuckle from them as the next guy, but at the end of the day, are we really doing anything other than spewing meaningless garbage into the Ethereum? Interesting thoughts. In other news, I'm beginning to question how so many YouTubers have so much trouble with this game, as I flail with that. Yeah. Like, swear to you, I've not played this game before. I know that it said continue back then, but at the main menu, but
Alright, thanks for coming with me on this trip. I'll understand if you have to take
that was because I was doing a recording test, because I've actually never recorded gameplay before now.
Don't worry. I'll save your
Done a little bit
progress
of streaming of Sonic Generations, because I used to speedrun that casually, but
This game is a homage to a free game that came out
maybe I'll do that
in
on the channel
2010,
sometime.
Sexy Hiking. The author of that game was Jazzo, a mysterious
That would actually not be a
chip
bad
designer
idea.
who was known at the time as the father of B games.
I will actually say that
B games are rough assemblages of
the reason that I'm doing this
designers
is,
slap them
goddamn,
together very quickly and freely.
the reason
They're
I'm
often too rough
even doing
and
this to begin
unfriendly
with
to get
is
much
that
of a following.
close friend of mine, Willow,
artist.
artist, I will link to his channel in the description, or maybe not, I'll talk to him about that first. He does like speed paints or whatever. Just wanted me to record things. Apparently he likes my voice. A little bit of a weirdo. Whatever. There we go. So, said screw it. I have Plays.tv, I have a microphone, I have games, why not?
No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery.
And,
And the player
I
is
don't know.
constantly, unremittingly
I
in
hope
danger of falling
at least
into a
Willow
slippery
enjoys my mindless babbling. Hopefully some other people do
Anyway, when you
too.
start sexy hiking,
Maybe this channel might
next to
actually
this
go
dead
somewhere.
tree
That would be
that
nice.
blocks the way to the
Stop working in a
entire
shithole like Target.
it might
LMFAO.
take you an hour to get over that tree. A
Ooh,
lot of people never
ooh,
go
okay. A little bit sensitive. Let's turn down that sensitivity a little bit, you know? We don't need all
the limits
that.
of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of
Interesting.
confidence. Most obstacles
seem to
in
get a
video
grip
game
on this
world
part.
are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them.
Ooh, I do not like the lower sensitivity at all. Let's take that back
Once you
up.
have the correct method, or the correct equipment, or just by spending enough time.
I also agree with his
That said,
philosophy here
every
about the
pixelated obstacle in Sexy Hiking
don't even have to listen to it. I've just watched so much of this game. About the concepts of challenges in video games, and that's really why I kind of appreciate games like this. Like, people talk about how Dark Souls is super hard, and for a long time I didn't really like the game that much. And now I've kind of gone back and given it a fairer trial, in my opinion. And
I'd have an idea for a new obstacle.
there we go.
I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn
And,
out to be unreasonably hard.
I don't feel like it's a bad game anymore. There was a time when I thought it was a bad game. That was just because I was really fucking bad at it. I feel like it's a pretty fine game. I like a lot of things about it, but also a lot of the challenges in it just feel fake to me still. Not in that they're bullshit or unfair, but just that, like, if you just get the high enough numbers, you'll be fine. Like, if you're having trouble, just go grind for a little bit, farm some souls, you'll be fine. Just throw bigger numbers at the enemy and you'll work it out. Whereas in a game like this, or a game like, for example, Monster Hunter, which I'm a huge fan of, if you don't genuinely get better at it, you won't be able to beat the game. There is no, like, increase your numbers. And, like, I know in Monster Hunter, oh, there's gear and all that shit, but if you're actually good at the game, you'll be able to beat the hardest monsters with no gear on. And if you're bad at the game, you can have the best gear in the game and still get fucked by the simplest monsters. Because, well, yes, there is gameplay. I mean, there is numbers in that game and gear. They really don't matter that much. Not, at least not nearly as much as the skills that you gain just by playing. But I could yammer about Monster Hunter for ages, and probably will after Monster Hunter World comes out. Maybe I'll play that on, or record that. Hoppa, hoppa, come on. Shit, shit.
When you're building a video game world, you're building with ideas.
Come on, come on.
And that can be like working
Shit,
with
this
quick
part's
sets.
really fucking hard.
You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with. And in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't
That
change
out,
the
do
world.
this.
Not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new
Okay.
ideas.
Okay. Oh, shit. Fuck. No, 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 no. Oppa, oppa, op. And then we're gonna go down. Come on, come on, nope. Hook the hammer on. Hook the hammer in. The hammer in. The thing I've noticed watching a lot of people play this game is a lot of people like to flail when they start going wrong. And that's honestly the worst thing you can do in this game. Keep yourself calm, swing the hammer out, and just be ready to catch yourself. Most of the time, if you're flailing, you're just gonna knock yourself fall even farther. But, if you're just ready to catch yourself, you'll just catch yourself, and you'll just fucking stop falling and not have to go back through that much progress, unless you're the fucking snake. Hoo boy howdy. If I deal with that snake wrong, I may actually not finish this game. Just kidding, I'm actually completely planning to finish this game. I love... Whoop. I'm a huge proponent of maintaining actual challenge in video games, and there's no satisfaction if there's no real challenge, you know? The satisfaction that comes in gaming comes from overcoming a challenge. And a lot of the frustration in gaming, at least for me, comes from a challenge feeling genuinely unfair, or it being something out of your control, like shitty teammates in League of Legends, or Overwatch, or whatever competitive game you may choose. I could mention Dota 2 here, but honestly, you shouldn't be playing that solo queue. You should only be playing that with people who you know, who you can rely on, because otherwise you're just gonna be Russianed. You're gonna have people yelling at you in multiple languages on English servers. None of those languages will be English, and you're just gonna have a bad time. Don't play Dota 2 solo. Play Dota 2 with friends. It's a far better MOBA than anything else, but you have to play it with friends. 'Cause Valve isn't gonna fucking take care of that shit. Valve doesn't take care of jack shit. Used to think they were actually a really good company, then I actually started paying attention, and one of my friends explained the whole Counter-Strike Go fiasco to me, and yeah, now it's pretty clear to me that they went from being that they used to be a good company, and now they just kind of make money. They just kind of print money, and they don't care about customers, or players, or consumers. They just print money. Hoopa! Hoopa! Okay. Come on. Come on. Hook on there. Hook on there. Nope. Nope. Come on. Starting to flail a little myself. Okay. Get in. Up. Come on. Come on. No! Okay, that...
You just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration.
That's okay. It's not that bad. I can get back up all this in no time. Got up it pretty quick the first time, gonna get up the second time. I have another friend who's doing YouTube, or trying to at least, but fucker has no motivation, so you know what, this is gonna be a call out. Kevin, if you watch this video, you're a bitch. Start your YouTube channel. You'll be fine. Stop worrying about it. Stop fucking not doing it. Stop having excuses. You a bitch. I'd plug you here, but you ain't got no videos for me to plug. Bitch. It's not true. He has 2 videos, but nothing has come out since like last December, I don't think. Maybe it was more recent than that. I think it was last summer. Either way, bitch ain't making videos. Whenever they came out with the Overwatch deathmatch mode was his last time he did anything. Meanwhile, I'm over here and my aspirations don't even lie with YouTube, and he's and his do, and I'm actually making shit. Fuck! Okay. Don't usually get this frustrated. This is a uniquely special game in that regard. Actually, that's not true. I get frustrated with a lot of things. Just did not expect to get this frustrated this quickly. It's okay. It's okay. Fucking... Just gotta fucking stretch some stuff. Wrists are paying a little bit wonky. Come on. Take yourself along just a little bit. Now do this. Come on. Carpal tunnel's acting up a little bit. Oopah. See, that's what I was talking about with flailing. You don't want to do that. You'll just fling yourself even further. So, if I do more with this channel, those who watch will probably find my tastes in video games are strange. For example, I say that I like challenging games like this, and yet I find no appeal in a game like Cuphead. I know everyone's kind of like, oh, it's all the rage right now, but I don't know. People rave about the animation, and I've never been into rubber hose animation, which is the name for that style from like the 30s and all that. Never really found it all that appealing. Don't really like the music in it either. I don't know. The gameplay looks fun. I don't know. Maybe one time. Maybe eventually I'll play it. I don't know. Because again, the gameplay does interest me, but it's everything else about the game that's not the gameplay that everybody else seems so happy about, that I'm just sitting here like none of it even looks or sounds that good to me. I don't know. It's just personal taste, I guess, but I don't know, man. Also, since this is the first thing I'm doing on my channel, I just want to go ahead and establish something really early on. I may say that a game is bad, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. For example, just for a great example, earlier I said I speedrun Sonic Generations sometimes. I will fully admit that Sonic games are crap. Like, Sonic games are not good games. They're not well designed. They're shitty messes, usually glitchy as all hell. It doesn't make them not enjoyable to me. I don't know, there's something about them that's uniquely fun, and that's okay. You can enjoy something and know that it's bad. Just because something's not good doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. For example, a lot of people, my boyfriend included, love the movie The Room, which is infamous for being one of the worst movies ever. But, doesn't stop them from enjoying it, so if it's okay for people to enjoy movies that are bad, in fact, because they're bad in some cases, why can't people enjoy games that are bad? Or why can't they at least admit that the games that they enjoy are bad? Like, I don't understand why people feel the need to get so insulted about things. It's not that big of a deal. So, since I haven't dated this enough with the Cuphead stuff, Star Wars The Last Jedi came out, well, I guess not recently, it's been a few months. Haven't seen it yet. Probably gonna go see it, like, later this week, maybe? I don't know. Did not like Episode 7. Felt like Episode 7 was one of the stupidest movies I've ever seen. I can go more into detail on that perhaps later. Perhaps later in this video, perhaps not. Depends on how long it takes me to get past this fucking part. There we go. Yeah, I did not enjoy that movie at all. It's one of the very few movies that actually made me rage. It was very bad. Like, I actually felt like Episode 1 was better than Episode 7. And that's not to say that I feel like Episode 1 is good. I just feel like Episode 7 was that fucking bad. Because at least Episode 7 tried something original. Episode 7 wasn't good and also didn't try to be original. And thus far hasn't produced any extra stuff to make to the franchise to make it better. So the thing is, Episode 1 was really fucking bad. But not only did it try something original, which is, you know, made it a little bit better in its own right, it also created a fuck ton of EU shit, like fucking EU being Extended Universe. Like the Episode 1 Pod Racer game for N64 that's fucking fantastic. Or the, you know, all the stuff like Knights of the Old Republic and Republic Commando and all that shit wouldn't have been made if not for the prequels. Like, a lot of the Star Wars games that we all kind of love, at least a lot of people do, KOTOR, the original Battlefronts, not the EA ones, Republic Commando, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Star Wars The Old Republic MMO was good at one point. I don't know if it still is. I haven't played it in a very long time. Granted, it was just a WoW clone, but it was a clone of WoW, and WoW was good rather than current WoW, which, God, I could make a several hour video on my hatred of current WoW alone. I only recently quit. Like, I do mean, when I say current WoW, I do mean current WoW. I mean Legion. Because no matter how shitty Warlords of Draenor was, and no matter how stupid a lot of the shit in MoP was, and before you lore fanatics go crazy on me, yes, I know that the pandas are not new in Mists of Pandaria, and honestly, I don't mind their, inclusion. Warcraft 3 was my childhood. Well, one of many games that made up my childhood. I was very fortunate in that regard. If I had to choose just a couple of games, a handful to say that they made up my childhood, that would probably be Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie. Ooh, that was really smooth. Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, Warcraft 3, Diablo 2, Free Space 2, and, of course, Free Space 1 in that regard, which, if y'all haven't heard of Free Space or Free Space 2, and, like, flight simulator games, absolutely recommend you go play those, like, immediately. Those are fucking fantastic games. Like, so good that they killed the flight simulator genre, or space flight simulator genre for a while. If you've ever played Elite Dangerous, or, what is the other one? Star Citizen? Go play Free Space. Free Space is fucking perfect. Free Space 2 is even better. Love the aesthetic in those games, love the enemies, the Shivans are fucking legendary, to the point where multiple games have just completely stolen the idea. Haven't played much Mass Effect, but to my understanding the Reavers are at least similar to Shivans, and I believe it's the Covenant, or maybe the Flood, I don't know. I'm also not very into Halo. A lot of those, like, mid-2000s console... Fuck again. Mid-2000 consoles titles I didn't really get into. Well, aside from Nintendo and, like, I guess late mid-2000s. Like, still playing a lot of Nintendo then. Got really into Ratchet and Clank for, like, the PS2 era. I guess, like, the 360 era was kind of when I stopped playing console. Nowadays, I don't really play console, but not because it's like console shit like it used to be for me. Now it's just because I value being able to alt-tab out and chat with my friends a lot. Like, it's not fun to me to play video games anymore if I can't talk to my friends while I'm doing it. It's just the kind of person I am, you know? Because I put a lot of value on social interaction now that I'm not completely friendless. It's just nice. And, hey, if any of you out there are more or less friendless, you'll find people. It's impossible that there's no one you can mesh with. You just haven't found them yet. You're just not looking in the right places. If you're not finding anyone in real life, who cares? Find them online. Like, I know that kind of sounds cruel or whatever, but just do it. Like, it's not that scary to talk to people. I know that may sound hypocritical, or I guess not hypocritical, but just insensitive, but as someone with a form of autism known as Asperger's and relatively severe social anxiety, struggled with depression for a large portion of my life, I feel like it's not that insensitive to say, once you get used to it, once you actually stick your neck out there, it's not that bad. Yeah, it can be fucking terrifying to stick your neck out, but sometimes you just gotta do it, man. Just go talk to people. Make friends online if you have to. I know I made most of my friends through through World of Warcraft back in the day, through online chat rooms, etc. Several through Overwatch or League, which, hoo boy howdy, I could launch into a mod. There's part of me right now that just wants to ramble about how, like, Overwatch is an inherently flawed game, but Willow is an Overwatch fan, so that won't be this video, because this video, like I said before, is specifically for Willow. Maybe later I'll rant about how Overwatch is just not well designed. But, Christ, this is taking me forever compared to that first part. Just gonna focus on this for a second. I'm just gonna shut up and focus on this. Go like that. I know how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to launch yourself up somehow, get up there somehow, and then you're supposed to go off of the lamps. I'm not entirely sure how to get up there to begin with. I'm pretty sure you have to get stuck yourself up on the green rock. There we go. And then we're gonna do this to get up on the green rock. And then we're gonna do no. Shit! That's okay. We're okay. So, at the start of this video, I just kind of stated, said something about being cheap with games. Not certain if I ever elaborated on that, but just to do so. In my mind, a game is only worth the price as a value if you get 1 hour of game time that, you know, actually interests you. So not like filler content like a lot of JRPGs use. Like stuff that actually interests you and keeps you enjoying and playing because you're interested and not because you just want to get past this shit and get to the next part. 1 hour per dollar that you spent. Something that I've noticed is that virtually no game that costs $60 is worth $60. And there are exceptions to that. Super Mario Odyssey, fucking fantastic, absolutely worth the time. I mean, absolutely worth the money. Breath of the Wild, absolutely worth the money. Nier Automata, absolutely worth the money. But for the most part, even good AAA games that cost $60 are not worth $60, just because they're not going to give you 60 hours worth of content. For example, Shadows of Mordor from like 2013, whenever the fuck Shadows of Mordor came out. Really fucking good game. Even with all the DLC, only 40 hours of gameplay. Even with all of the DLC. Not really worth the $60, to be honest. And the reason that I brought that up with this game is that this game kind of was a struggle for me to decide to buy, because as much as I was interested in it, and in the challenge it pushed, I guess you could say, And the struggles that I'm going through right now, I already know it's not going to be 8 hours. Like, there's just no way it's going to take me 8 hours to get up this mountain. Jump cut to 20 hours later when I'm still on this fucking part. So that alone made it hard for me to decide to pick up this game, but in all honesty, the curiosity of what the thing at the top that you can't record is got me. And for those of you who are being cheapskate bastards trying to get that shit from me, you can go ahead and click off the video. I'm not showing that to you. Climb the mountain your own damn self. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And yeah, it might be $8, but hey, first of all, $8 ain't that much. It's like a single meal at McDonald's. Second of all, if you have a friend who has the game, just ask them for access to their Steam library. Like, it's not that hard to do. I have access to like 8 of my friends' Steam libraries, just because it's like, why would we all buy all the games if we can just do the fucking Steam sharing thing? It's a really nice feature. Thanks, Valve. I know I said earlier that you don't care about the customers, but there are some nice things you do. And I will give credit where credit is due. I can be a very stubborn person at times, but when I'm proven to be wrong about something, I will admit it. And when I know that someone deserves to be told that they're good about something, or deserves credit for something, I will give it to them. As long as I, you know, genuinely feel that way. Because I'm not gonna lie about shit. I'm just not. It's not worth it. Like, too many problems can be solved just by fucking being honest and open about shit. We got some friends right now who are going through some shit that's just fucking stupid bullshit that they could get through really easily if they would just be honest with each other about shit and what they want from shit, and I'm cursing a lot right now, but it's a very frustrating subject for me because they keep dragging me into it to deal with it. And honestly, it's frustrating because, yeah, they're both younger, so of course they're not gonna know to do shit, but it's like, just fucking stop being bitches and just tell each other what you want. Just be like, I want this, and fucking figure out some shit between yourselves. Yeah, you're both fucking teenagers, but you're pretty mature for your age. So fucking just deal with it. Like, I'm just tired of being dragged into your shit. Oppa! It's extra frustrating because they're so goddamn focused on each other's feelings that they can't realize that they're actively harming each other's feelings by being so fucking, oh, I don't want to hurt him. It's like, fucking, yeah, and by not wanting to hurt him, you're elongating this shit and just making it more and more and more and more painful. Fucking grow a pair and say what you want. Say what you want, say what you mean. Stop wording things in ways that are obviously meant to mislead. Stop being a bitch. And thrust. Ooh, almost got it that time. Fuck this part. This part in particular. And the frustrating part about this part, even more so than not being able to get past it, is that I know he's, like, this is actually kind of smart game design. This part is here specifically to teach you a very specific motion. Pogo up and then catch something. And I know that it's trying to do that. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's not working. At least I'm not figuring out what I'm doing wrong. But I maintain that this game is very smartly designed. And some people are like, oh, it's so frustrating, it's so hard, the controls don't work. The controls work fine. Like, really. The controls just work fine. You're just flailing too much. At first I was like, maybe it will be hard and the controls are weird and wonky. No. These controls are really fucking smooth. People who say that the controls are shit are just making excuses. Hoppa, hoppa, hoppa. That was unfortunate. That's okay. I can get back up there easy. Oh. Come on. Launch. Come on. Probably just gonna upload this all as one chunk. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to my friend Kevin, have him split it up, I think. He's the one I was calling a bitch earlier, but he's rad. He's a good guy. He just needs to be more motivated on YouTube though, because he does seem to genuinely want to do this shit. Why he would want to, I don't know, because between demonetization and how shitty things are even when you aren't demonetized as far as money making goes. For those who don't know and who use ad blocker, every 10 ad plays equates to about 1 cent on YouTube. That is how it actually calculates out money wise. Don't know if it's against terms of service to tell you all that, but yeah. And when it's demonetized, well, there you go. Now then, it is worth noting, YouTube Red is actually fantastic in that regard, because even when a video is demonetized, they still get money. Or I guess now I say we still get money if I'm YouTubing now. So yeah, YouTube Red is actually, like, I don't understand why so many people are like, oh, YouTube Red is fucking horrible, YouTube Red kills creators, and it's like, no, YouTube Red only does good things for creators. It's actually a really nice service, and I'm not even just shilling for YouTube. I have YouTube Red right now, and it's actually really fucking nice. And I don't, like, I've always kind of not used ad block on YouTube, just because, you know, I get most of my entertainment from here, and feel like it's kind of douchey to, like how hard is it to click skip ad? And with how bad the pay already is, like, fucking who am I to say you're, like, so-and-so's not worth the money? Of, like, the fucking, they get 1/10 of a cent for me spending 5 seconds to click skip ad. I don't know. Oop, shit. And for the record, I think there's like something weird about YouTube Red where it's not even like just that they get the money even if you didn't, even if they are demonetized. It's like you're actually worth more to them. Like YouTube Red counts as 110% of the maximum number of ad plays or something like that. Could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty certain that's how it works. Like if it's a video long enough to get 10 ad plays, a YouTube Red viewer counts as 11 if they watch all the way through. Something like that. Okay, fuck. Speaking of Valve, I don't understand why so many people are like upset about this new Dota 2 card game. Everything I've looked into about it seems pretty interesting, and like, yeah, they announced it in a kind of shitty way, but shouldn't we like give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, it could be good, and see what they actually say about it before we all get angry? Like, what's wrong with going into it with an open mind? Worst case scenario, you don't have your hopes up, but you also don't hate it, and then it's bad, and you're like, okay, it's bad, that's the end of it. Best case scenario, it's good. But if you go into it hating it, and it's bad, then nothing's changed, you still hate it. And if it's good, then you look like an asshole. Like, just fucking open up to it. Give it a chance. If it's shit, then it's shit, and hate it then. Don't hate it before, though. Kinda under the same idea as guilty until proven innocent, I guess. Or, that's backwards. Innocent until proven guilty. There's an idea in the concept of logic that, in an argument, the burden of proof, or rather proving what your claim is, lies with the accuser. So, if you're gonna say that it's shit before there's anything to go off on it, and it lies with you to prove that it's shit with all of your zero evidence. And I'd love to see you work that one. Shit. Jesus Christ. Kevin, feel free to cut some of this out, because this is just painful at this point. I must have been going at this part for like 10 minutes. How long have I been recording? 36 minutes? Yeah, 20 of it has been at this. So, just gonna keep babbling. Leave in what you want to, cut out what you don't. Just fucking try and like condense this session down into like this obstacle, I guess, down into like maybe 5 minutes. I don't know. You can cut out all these directions or don't. It's all up to you. You're the oh Jesus. Alright. That's that was sloppy. I'm getting a little bit sloppy. It is 5:02 a.m. Come on. Come on. Come on. Also, Kevin, all that shit about cutting stuff out, don't cut out falls. Falling and getting back up is what this game is. And it would be an injustice to Mr. What the fuck is his name? Brendan Foddy. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy. That's it. Brendan Foddy. Folly indeed. It would be an injustice to Mr. Foddy to not include this. Because that's what this game is about, you know? It's about this process of falling, losing your progress, and being okay with it. Or getting infuriated about it, and screaming about it, and throwing your chair across the room. That's another way of enjoying this game. Okay, we're gonna go up, like this, and then we're gonna go up, stop. Shit. Okay, we're gonna go up. Oh my god. Fucking. Kevin, parts of this that you would want to cut out are like the shit where I'm not saying jack shit or just giving you instructions like this, where I'm actually starting to get a little bit frustrated, seething a little bit, starting to get a little headache. This is not good commentary. Or maybe it is. I don't know. least now we got some music. Now that's all of our progress. Okay. Okay, I need more Coke. Give me a moment. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with an episodic structure for this. Kevin, I'd like these to be in like 20-minute episodes, I'd say. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not just typing this to you in Discord later, but I don't know. It just feels more natural to tell you here. I'm starting to feel a little bit overheated. Can't turn on my fan because that makes too much noise. And I'm sweaty and unpleasant. And I don't sweat well, so I'm getting actually overheated internally. This is fun. Okay, I am turning on that fan. Fuck it. Y'all can deal with the noise. The heat is getting to me. Shit. There we go. Come on. That's alright. $10 shoe fits my feet. $10 shoe fits my feet. Okay, I had such an easy fucking time going up this the first time. And now I'm gonna have trouble with it. This is where the trouble that other YouTubers have all had trouble with it the first time. Now I'm getting it like the 4th time that I've gone up it. 4th time, 5th time, 8th time, I don't fucking know, I haven't kept track. Who the fuck are you to fucking question it? Who gives a shit? I'm gonna just cut out the first 20 minutes to have an episode up tomorrow. Send the rest off to Kevin. Maybe I'll just send it all to Kevin and get it up to... no, I promised Will I would have a first episode up tonight. Tomorrow. I said that'd be a present for him. Okay. I don't know, man. I know Kevin said this game looked dumb, but, I don't know, I feel like it's designed very beautifully. I've found over the years that my favorite type of game design is when someone takes a singular concept and just works with that, and they flesh it out, and they keep it focused on that one thing. Like, you don't add a bunch of extra shit, you don't add a bunch of mini games, you don't flail about with your construction. You keep it simple, you keep it compact, you focus it on a single idea, and you just take that idea as far as you can. For example, Legend of Zelda, originally, it's just the concept of adventuring. That was the idea that the whole game was focused around, and they took that idea of adventuring and they were like, how do we make a game around adventuring? Okay, what do we do? Okay, how do we do more with this? How do we do more with this? That's what they kept asking themselves. Mario was literally the concept of jumping. Super Meat Boy, same thing. Super Meat Boy was just jumping plus difficulty was the concept. This is climbing a mountain. Monster Hunter, like I've mentioned before, big fan of it. Feel like that game's another great example of a more complicated method of doing it, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's one idea taken and focused. Hunting giant monsters. an idea of an example of a game that doesn't do that would be like most AAA games nowadays when they try and throw in like 800 different things. For example, Shadow of War is a great example of it, where they tried to throw in like Assassin's Creed style gameplay and loot boxes and siege style gameplay. They didn't really say, this is a concept we want to work with. They said, this is a gameplay thing that people like that we should just build because people like it in itself. Which, honestly, is just the worst way to do it. Oh, another good example of a game that took one idea and took it, and just made it really, everything around that and made it really good, Grow Home.
The soul would have no rainbow.
Which is just fucking great. They took one idea of like, the fucking plant things or whatever. I haven't actually played the game, but I watched a lot of it back in the day and whatever. And that game was like fucking big cult classic. Because they took one idea, focused the gameplay around it, polished it, and that was it. League of Legends, for example, took the concept of social manipulation to create a cesspool of toxins, and polished an entire experience around that single idea of making people as toxic and shitty as possible towards each other. See just how much you can make people hate their common man. Honestly, that's MOBAs as a whole. And I say that from the perspective of a League of Legends player. I'm not hating on it. Well, I am hating on it, but a lot of League of Legends players are hating on it, so it's fine. It's just one of those games that you hate while you play. But it doesn't matter because you've addicted yourself via a dopamine addiction, a dopamine rush from the satisfaction of a hard victory in that game. Because again, satisfaction comes from the challenge. If something isn't challenging, then it's not satisfying. Blizzard could learn a lot from that idea. They used to understand it. Used to. But nowadays, they were just like, what if we just give everything to everyone? And also, even when you do the hard stuff, there's no real reward to it. So, any satisfaction that you feel is nulled. And also, all of the boss fights are going to have 800,000 mechanics. Instead of, like, all of our best bosses that we've ever made had, like, 4. The most mechanics in a actually good boss fight was Lich King had 3 phases with no more than 6 apiece. Well, 3 phases and a transition phase with literally 2 mechanics. And again, 6 mechanics apiece in that, or 6 or less in that fight, and that was, in my opinion, the best fight they ever made. Second being Onyxia, which had, if you count dragon mechanics as one, I mean, dragon rules as one mechanic, you know, which is basically just positioning. Then yeah, that had, I believe, 4 mechanics, and it's one of the most finely crafted bosses I've ever seen. But no, we need to have Gul'dan have 3 phases, and each phase has 20 different mechanics to remember, and oh man, this is really fun studying a textbook for a boss fight. Because we don't know how to actually design boss fights anymore, and you guys complained when we made every boss fight, don't stand in shit and kill the mobs. So clearly you want more mechanics rather than better mechanics, right? No, Blizzard. No, that's not what we want. And while we're on that subject, item level scaling is also not what we